30th of April for the deadline. Ladies and gentlemen, today it's someone's birthday, and I've been requested to do this announcement. Someone is born on the 20th of March. Can we guess who is that person? The CEO started on the 2006 in the SETA space, but it's someone's birthday tonight. I mean, today. Can we guess who it is? In majority, you are saying CEO. Is it you, CEO? Please. The wholesale and retail SETA is turning 26 years today. Thank you. We are 26 years today. Can we make use of today as the birthday of wholesale and retail SETA by having a very, very valuable conversation that will actually change the numbers that CEO was sharing with us? There's more than 25,000 companies, of which SARS deducts a percentage from them. So that money is taken away from those companies. It gets to SARS. SARS give it to the Department of Higher Education. But however, the Skills Development Act, it prescribes that those of which that 1% has been taken away from, they're expected then to collaborate with us in developing then plans on how themselves they plan to spend that money. And that's where the gap is. And largely that's why we're here today. Just approximately 3,900 out of that 25,000. It's not looking good at all. Ladies and gentlemen, let me not waste time. We have our acting regional manager or acting senior regional manager, Sir Jeff Nene, who's responsible for Gauteng South, as well as what we all know as the Northwest province. Is carrying 2 provinces, if we're to put it like that. Can I invite you, sir, to come on stage and give us an overview and outlook and demonstrate to us as to how can the SETA participate, especially those that are here and those that are following online, who say to themselves, I'm not clear, or I'm having some challenges there and there in doing my submissions. Hence, over the years or from time to time, I fail to submit as Company X. Sir Jeff, can you come through and just give us that demonstration? Thank you. Desmond, do we have Desmond here? Desmond Mashao? Can you come and just help us a little bit here? Oh, I think it's. Can you help us here? Okay, it appears that there was a miscommunication amongst ourselves around the use of laptops. Good morning, good morning, how are you? Good morning, how do you do? Oh, Batung. Then I want to. Sure. Are you able to see my presentation? Wow. Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Thank you very much, Program Director, Baba Nongalaza. Uh, I thank you for the opportunity. Greetings to the CEO, and all other executives that are here, all our stakeholders that are here. We thank you for coming and we greet you this morning. As the Program Director has just indicated, today it is definitely not the day of speeches and presentations. It is the day for us to engage. And I've got a very few slides that I've just prepared to take us through what we need to look into. As you can see in my table of contents, you will just quickly look into the grant system, of which the CEO has just touched on, and look into who is eligible to participate, how to participate, and how do we support as the SETA participation process, as well as the benefits of participation, and maybe look into the products as well that we as the SETA provide. We all know that you are all paying levies, or rather paying tax. Maybe let me use that word, paying tax to SARS, because sometimes if you say levies, people they always think it, no, it's our money, it's our money. No, you're paying tax. Tax cannot be your money. Tax is the government's money, né? That's right, yeah. So you're paying tax in the form of the 1% of your total bill. If you more than 500, half a billion in terms of the bill, then you qualify, and then you pay that 1%. And as the CEO also indicated that we do have two grant systems, which is the mandatory and the discretionary. And out of that 1%, when it gets to to SARS, they also make sure that the 20% of that is directed to National Skills Fund so that it can deal with all other national imperatives. And then the rest then comes to the SETA, of which when it gets to the SETA has got 10.5% to utilize, but not the full 10.5. The other 0.5% needs to be directed to QCTO, as you all know about the QCTO, Quality Council for Trade and Occupations, so that they can be able to do their work. Then we are left with the 69.5% of that, of which out of that, then we pay your 20% once you participate through the Annexure 2 process, which we're going to talk about, which we call the mandatory grant. If you have submitted that and has been accepted, and obviously then you qualify for that, and then the rest goes to the discretionary grants, which we then use for the discretionary projects. And who is eligible participants? Unfortunately, it's not everybody who participate on an Annexure 2 process. It's only the levy-paying employers registered with W&Rseta, which is SETA 27. I think we all know that there are so many other SETAs, but you are here because you fall under the W&R, which is wholesale and retail. So that is why then you are part of this gathering today. And those are the people that actually participate in the Annexure 2 process. And how do you participate? Of course, you do pay your levies to SARS, your 1%, as I indicated earlier on. And then the SETA will advertise to say the discretionary, the mandatory grant session is open. And then you will then participate by ensuring that you complete your workplace skills plan and your annual training report, of which all those documents are actually called Annexure 2 documents, and they include the pivotal plan as well as the pivotal report. In other words, you give us the plan in terms of what is it that you as the company or as the organization you are planning to train on. It includes both your own employees as well as your people that you will be bringing into the space, which are unemployed people, that whatever you are planning on, of which most of the time, if it is for those unemployed people, most of the time falls within the pivotal program, and then mostly of these employed could be both. So That advert is always running because it is a legislated process, which you're supposed to submit by the 30th of April each and every year. The most important thing that maybe one should highlight when it comes to that particular process, that's why it's open for a bit longer period, so that it allows you to gather all the information, the profile. Those who are SDFs and SLOs will know I was once one of the SDF of one of the bigger organizations in South Africa. So I know the process of going into each and every department, getting their information, getting the executives to indicate and sign, all those type of things. So that is what you do. You gather all that information, and then you definitely have to submit it into the SETA system, and then obviously as well provide the report on the on the plan that you would have submitted the previous year, to say last year you said this, you will do X, Y, and Z. So now it's time to account. Did you do that? Or what did you do? So that is why we've got that ATR for WSPs, including the pivotal programs. So then from the SETA perspective, once that has been submitted and has been approved, then we pay you back that 20%, but we do not pay it in a lump sum like that. We pay it on quarterly basis, up until June the following year. So in other words, whatever you are going to submit now, if it is approved, then from September onwards, then you are going to start to get payments with regards to that amount. And how do we support as the W&Rseta? We register your SDF, because as a skills development facilitator of that particular company, the company must appoint you. So when they appoint you, then they give you the appointment letter, and that appointment letter must be submitted to us in order to give you access to the system. Then on the basis of that, then you are able then to start doing the necessary work that you need to do as the skills development facilitator. And those skills development facilitators, mostly they are for medium and large. I'm saying mostly large, let me say all large, but for medium, some of them, because others will have their own SDF, others may not have some of their own SDFs. And for that, the kind of support that we as the SETA provide is to then contract the what we call sector liaison officers, SLOs, so that on the basis of what we have given them and the mandate, and we give them the list of the companies that they need to go and visit. So those are the people that you should open doors for in your organization when it is a Annexure 2 session or at a period, so that they come and work with you and assist you with that. As the CEO indicated here, that some of you may not have the capacity, or you are too busy with this and that for whatever reason, and then you delegate that process or that job to the SLOs, which we will have contracted and paid. So in other words, we are taking some of the burden off your shoulders as the SETA, to make sure that your work is seamless, kind of. So the most important thing, maybe taking the clue and maybe emphasizing what the Shamas indicated earlier on here, is to say, as the company, it becomes very important to know what the SLO and the SDF is putting into those particular documents. Because at the end of the day, the CEO or the MD will sign that particular letter, to say, yes, he agrees with all those things. But it is very important that you know what is in there. Because in most cases, if those things that are in there is not what you will have looked into as the organization and agreed on, then it's going to start having an impact. As you all know, that as the SETA, we do a lot of analysis from that particular process. We take a lot of information. MX is here. who's looking into that, and Babum Mhlengi, they are looking into all those things and then analyze that information to say, what is the sector saying to us? But further to that, they also do consult with you through those participatory sessions where they interview you and get that information. So in other words, it becomes very important. So whatever we get, it should actually align to what is contained in those documents that you submit. And most importantly as well, ensuring that you submit compliant documents. I'm saying that, you remember earlier on I indicated that I once did that work. I've never had any return from the SETA that I was reporting to at that particular point in time. So in other words, all that I'm emphasizing, ladies and gentlemen, is that make sure that that information is actually correct, because it minimizes a lot of time dealing with other issues, where at the end of the day, sometimes it comes with these things was rejected and now you have to fix. Sometimes that SDF has left the organization. Shamas, I'm trying to bring some other challenges that sometimes we pick now to say this issue around the client submission is being returned. Now, the person who was helping you maybe has resigned. The new person that you have appointed maybe is still trying to get his feet. Maybe it was an SLO. That SLO is no longer around. All those type of things. But if things are actually submitted as correct and compliant from the word go, then things work. Okay, so I'm just emphasizing on that one. Further to that, ladies and gentlemen, we do provide capacitation prior to the process or just after the advertisement each year, and we make sure that we capacitate you, the SDF and also the SLOs. Others actually does not need necessarily the capacitation per se, but because from time to time we look into what was in the system, what were the challenges, and then maybe upgrade the system, you need to know as well where are the changes here and there, so that at least when you go into the system, you don't have much frustrations in terms of putting together what you need to put together and submit. And obviously, the provincial offices has dedicated teams to assist our stakeholders during this period. Now, as we speak, whatever you want, whatever query you've got, you speak to our specialists that are in both provincial offices, Gauteng North, Gauteng South, because I'm talking Gauteng. I don't know if is there anyone who's not from Gauteng? No, you are all from Gauteng. Okay, all right. Or online. All right. Wherever you are, we do have offices that are actually able to assist you. From you can go to our website if you happen to be new and you do not know who is the contact person in that particular office, but to anyone that you will be able to reach to can actually give you the direction with regards to that, so that you get assistance. And please get that assistance as quickly as possible. And the other thing maybe that I just need to emphasize, CEO and colleagues, is that when you are working on that, please try to do it on time, because most of the time when it comes towards the closure period, towards the 30th of April, everybody is now busy on the system and the system become clogged. Then it becomes a problem, and then there are many other issues that may occur that normally do okay. And then it creates a problem for you to say, now the work that you could have submitted 2 weeks earlier or what, then you have not submitted it. By the time you want to go into the system, there's a problem with the system. So I'm employing you, you colleagues, to say, please gather all the necessary information and submit it on time. If you submit it, or rather maybe capture it a couple of weeks before, and then you spend the last 3 weeks just to keep on checking, and then 2 weeks before, click your submit, it goes. Then you have submitted. All right, without any issue, other than submitting it at 5 to 12 at night on the 30th, because sometimes when we get in these issues, as well. Somebody will say, no, there was no electricity wherever I was, then I was unable to submit. All those things, ladies and gentlemen, they can be dealt with by ensuring that you submit as early as possible. Benefit for participating: you get back your 20% of your grants, as I've just indicated. You also get access to discretionary grants, because if if we advertise now for discretionary grants, the first thing that we check is that, as an organization, did you submit your Annex 2 documents? If you did not, then you are excluded. So you know now that you are going to forfeit quite a lot that you would have actually received in terms of capacitating and dealing with all issues of skill development that you wanted to deal with within your own organization. Now, because you did not submit, then it becomes a problem. To companies, please check with your SDFs early enough and SLOs as early enough. Have you submitted? Go to the system as well. I encourage you, go to the system as well and check, because you don't want to know only after the 30th that no, for some reasons, it was not submitted. Then you don't get access to the discretionary grants, and obviously forfeiting your 20%. But more importantly, when you are accessing the discretionary grants, most important thing is that you are now going to be able to upskill your own employees and have a skilled workforce. What is the benefit of having a skilled workforce? Is that you are going to be having people within your organization who knows what to do and how to do it. You avoid wastage, avoid all sorts of other things. Get disciplined people, because you have trained them, upskilled them on various other disciplines with regards to that. Opportunities to place graduates in your workplace, all those things you get because you're participating on the discretionary grants. Access to SARS rebates. You know that for bringing in unemployed youth into the space, then SARS is providing those rebates that you can get as well. So those are benefits that you get if you participate. In terms of the products that we have, as you all know, it will be learnerships and skills programs for both employed and unemployed. The CEO indicated here that most of the time, the challenge that we as the W&Rseta are faced with is that the participation, necessarily from the application point of view, people do apply in big numbers. But when you give them both employed and unemployed, the first thing that they will jump into is to register the unemployed or deal with the unemployed. And now the question will be, but your employed people are there. I know there are consultation processes, but just because you would have planned for all these things, it's not something that you will just come out of a sudden to say, oh, I've got this allocation now, I need to do something. It's something that you would have planned. Then obviously, you actually 18.1s are the programs that you should register first. Then you move to the others. So we've got a challenge with 18.1s, and we are appealing to all of you to say, please assist us with these 18.1s as we are in now 26, 27 that we are going to start very soon. But I know you did apply for those numbers. Numbers are still very huge, but we do not want to be frustrated again with the numbers that you get allocated and then you are not taking up. Please register the numbers that you will have been allocated, because most of the time we allocate less than what you will have applied for in general, in the main. So please register those numbers. We as the SETA, how we operate, if you achieve 99% of your specific target, that target is poor performance, not met. From your side, it may be fine, but from our side, it's poor performance. If we're supposed to register 100, we need 100. So if we give you 10, register 10, as an example. All right. We do have bursaries as well to wrap up, Program Director, for employed and for unemployed. There are challenges. there as well. But as you all know, I think this will be the third year now that we are opening it up for employers as well to bring in unemployed bursaries, but also there underemployed. Again, it's a challenge because the challenge will be, are we saying most of your people that you have employed that are in your workplaces, they are not studying? Somewhere with UNISA, somewhere with Regent, somewhere with whoever, you know. Why are you not applying for them and register them? Because you're giving them a benefit peace of mind, isn't it? So let's look into those things, ladies and gentlemen, and assist. And then we've got non-pivotal programs, of course. And then we've got our retail management development program, the RMTP. I know on that one I cannot even say much because you always participate very well, always get good numbers and good returns and good completions. I don't know why are we not then replicating that on other programs, but I just implore you to please do as well. And then we've got the International Leadership Development Program as well. You know, as well, that program goes very, very well. So please, whatever is happening on those two programs, can you please make sure it's happening on all other programs that you are participating in? We've got graduate placements and internships and many others. So, and artisans, there are so many other things that we are offering as the SETA. So all that we are saying as our stakeholders, those are the things that you can actually get access to when you are participating. And if you're not participating, as the CEO indicated, we implore you to please participate in these programs because number one, there is tax that you pay that you can actually get benefit out of it through the mandatory grants as well as through the discretionary grants. But the most thing as well as I close to note is that in most cases, if you look in some of you, except maybe for very big organizations, you will find that the levies that you pay, you get more when you are participating than not participating in terms of the value. So with that, program director, I think we have just touched a few things here and there which I believe they are beneficial. So we wish to have we hope we are going to have a very good engagement for the day going forward on the basis of talking about the Annexure 2 and how do we participate and where are the challenges. And we are here to make sure that we listen to you and then take into consideration whatever you are saying so that we make it a good relationship going forward. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Thank you so much, Madlogovu. I think he did a sterling job. Another round of applause for him. He was very explicit, very clear, but that will be gauged when we get into the item of question and answer. But in my view, he did so well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's quickly move with our program. As we indicated that today it's much more about the sectoral stakeholders. We have two companies amongst the more than 25,000 in our sector that are in the program. We are offering a platform, but also even those that come from the other companies, you also have a platform during our Q&A where you will be sharing with us the work that we are doing also in your environment, not so much about raising concerns, putting a stick on us and all of that. We would love to know what is happening as well at your level, at company level. Without any waste of time, can I call Usis Tulile Masluchana, who actually is the general manager of Matters Group. I don't know how to spell Matters. I did not get my schooling at a multiracial, but if I did, I would have said from Matters. Matters girl. Matters. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tulile. I am the General Manager of HR and Training for Matus. I honor this platform today. Thank you very much for inviting me. I heard earlier on that today was not about speeches. Vugani didn't prep me as well as Jeff. Unfortunately, I do have a speech. um, I obviously stand here before you today with immense pride. Um, to showcase some of the interventions that our organization has embarked on with the W&Rseta. As a business, we are committed to not only achieve our goals, but to do so in a manner that is intentional, strategic, and sustainable. Our approach to business development is rooted in the belief that the growth of our company is essentially linked to the growth of our people. At the heart of our success lies our commitment in skills development. We recognize that in today's fast-paced environment, compliance is merely a checklist, but a pivotal element to our strategy. As business development strategies are designed to ensure that every initiative we undertake is not only compliant, but also transformative for our organization as well as the communities that we serve. The pivotal year 25-26 marks a significant milestone in our commitment to the learning and development sector. We have successfully registered 15 customer management learners within the legacy qualification, demonstrating our focus to developing key-facing customer skills. Additionally, we have welcomed 10 NCV learners from the Ekurhuleni West College, reinforcing our dedication to vocational education. Our initiative includes 5 workplace exposure learners, a vital step in providing a practical experience and enhancing employability. We are moreover excited to announce that our program to create a supervisory pipeline for our employees has been successful. We have launched training for 15 occupational retail supervisors aimed at equipping our workforce with the leadership skills required in order for their success and their future growth. We're also proud to announce that we have embarked on 20 skills programs within our internal welding initiative, ensuring that our employees, as well as those that are unemployed, are equipped with the right skills in order for them to have the necessary exposure. Moreover, we are committed to the workplace exposure through initiatives like the Will. It is a testament to our dedication to nurturing talent by providing our unemployed learners with the opportunities to apply their skills in a practical workplace setting. We enhance their professional journeys while contributing to enhancing the enrichment in our organization. This holistic approach ensures that we are not just developing employees and unemployed youth, but we're empowering future leaders. I'm delighted to share that thanks to these concerted efforts, alongside the eligible support with the W&Rseta and its commendable staff workforce, we have consistently achieved a remarkable completion rate of 95% year on year. This statistic is not just a number, it's a representation of our commitment to excellence, our dedication to transformation, and an unwavering focus on compliance. As we look ahead, let us continue to foster an environment that prioritizes skills development, compliance, and personal growth. Together, we can navigate the challenges that lie ahead, transform our business landscapes, and make a lasting impact in our communities at large. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Lee from Matus Group. Sir Jeff spoke about 100%. So 95% is still poor performance. Poor performance, 100%. Thank you so much, Sister Lile. Let's move quickly to also our crucial stakeholder. They've just joined our sector, and that is Batu. I'm sure we have a sense. Can I invite on stage? And I'm hoping that we're going to get some goody goodies. Goody goodies. And we all know what are those goody goodies from Batu. Surely they have something in store for us today. So it was deliberate that we have them on the program, hoping. So Cedric, you'll introduce yourself, but over to you. I see they are still busy with some technological connection. I'm told that Cedric, he prefers to use April. He doesn't want to touch anything other than April. So that is why there is this forward and backward, happening here. But he said he can only operate April, nothing else. Over to you, sir.
um, I don't know how true that is, but it's about preparation, right? If you're given a platform to come and potentially influence a direction and have a conversation from the other side, you must come prepared. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, all protocol observed. Mr. Mkwanazi, our CEO, internal and external stakeholders, I greet you. My name is Cedric Dipoko, and I am the managing director of the Batu Group. I think um, in every shopping center, you see us. But why don't you engage with us and buy our product? I came in this morning and I looked at everybody and I thought to myself, why don't we have a fair fabric or representation of what Africa is in the form of our shoes? So it's a challenge that I'm also leaving you with today. So first things first, congratulations for 26 years of impact. Can we give ourselves a round of applause? Um, we are a business that is 10 years old as of the 15th of September this year. So give us a round of applause. And it's simply because of your unwavering support, people from different diverse backgrounds in South Africa continuously support our business. And for that, South Africa, we want to say thank you. You might be asking yourself because you don't know us. Yeah, maybe you don't know us. You don't know what Batu is. um, our story is highly embedded on owning your destiny. Our tagline says that walk your journey because we understand that everybody's on a journey to something, and ours is to ignite the journey, equip the journey, and facilitate the journey to greatness. So, partnerships like the W&Rseta to us is very pivotal in our business because we employ predominantly the youth. So, 95% of our workforce is actually youth. And in a country like ours that we live in, where the unemployment rate of South Africa is sitting at 31%, predominantly in youth, we know the stats, right? And on a numbers POV, it sits at 7.8 million. That's a lot. And with the macroeconomical challenges and the challenges that we have in and around our country, we always need to make sure that we capacitate, facilitate, and foster a learning environment for people, for us to be able to create sustainable employment and to partner with the organization like this in economic growth. And we are a business that's very strategic. In our strategy, we have our core strategic pillars, which are people, product, profit. We're not just a business that is going to be emotional in seeking for your support, but we want to make sure that in everything that we build, we are putting quality at the forefront of everything. Quality of the right people with the right skill set, fulfilling the right roles, and impacting our future of this country. The right product, because we're not a poverty porn story. We are internationally benchmarked. We have the right product at the right price, accessible in the different platforms, whether it's e-commerce or our retail channels. And obviously, we're a business that is, needs to be profitable. So that is why we are calling upon every South African to please participate and buy local. For us to impact, shape, and design the future, it takes the amalgamation of my efforts and your efforts. So, streamlining the conversation to people, this is one of the people in our business that shares a testimony. And thank you. Thank you. Because this, ladies and gentlemen, is the future of our country. This might be the next or the first female president of this country. And wouldn't we be proud as an organization, as an entity, to say that the skills development funnel was capacitated or influenced by our organization? So moving forward, the conversation is about people that we wanted to have. We did get a brief, and we thought, no, we Mavericks, we are always unorthodox in the way that we have conversations and how we want to influence conversations. Um, we spoke about the unemployment youth rate of South Africa, but at the end of the day, for us, it's about how do we combat that by strengthening the skills proposition within our organization. We have to design, and all of us here, we have to agree that whatever initiative that we are designing within our corporate entities speaks to facilitating, capacitating a future ready workforce. The world is changing, the world is progressing, but how do we move from gear 3 to 5? How do we make sure that we move our efforts from good to great in efforts of making sure that we are capacitating, facilitating, and getting our employees to be future ready for the world and the future that we're living in. And then it's not just going to take us as an employees or you as an organization. It's going to take the efforts of both public and private sector coming together in dissecting the issue and making sure that we bring about change and a solution. And we need to understand that it's in our collaborative efforts that we're going to make this thing a reality fit for purpose in the future. I I come with Becky, who's our head of human capital, and I asked her a question as we were putting together the presentation. I said, when are we challenging the CETA that if you are a retail business, there's more to retail than the customer facing transaction? But what about the accountants that make sure that our books are 100%? What about the designers that are designing the shoes for us to be able to transact with quality shoes? What about the marketing people that also needs to understand the go-to-market strategies? What about the procurement people that needs to understand that it's the right level of stock and inventory in the right places? What about the logistics people that plan the routes and goods deliveries? What about them? Are they not retail? Those are retail because it's about understanding the ecosystem of retail, and it's about making sure that every single skill set in retail sector is influenced in the right direction. So at Batu, we have a skills and development program. We say that we are in gear 1 because we are nowhere compared to where the other big corporates are at. And when we won the accolade last year, we were actually shocked that we competed with heavy giants, but we have a proposition that is fit for future. And I hope that there's human capital custodians of organization here. I always ask the question to Becky, what is the value proposition? What are we selling? What is it that we are giving to our employees? And our value proposition at Batu is we care. We care about your career, we care about your compensation, which is remuneration, and we care about your skills. And that is why internally we have platforms like the Batu Annual Conference, which is a platform where we bring all the leaders and we communicate the strategy of the business. Because we believe that even at a store level, you have to know strategically what is our objectives and what are we trying to achieve. Number two, we have Batu Training Thursdays, which is a call for everybody in the business because we believe that futures and impact is built on cohesion. If everybody comes together and deploy their minds, their skills, and their time to one common goal, we achieve a better South Africa. We have mid-year dial-in where we bring our retail mavericks at head office and we show them the other side of retail. That it's not just about the transaction, consumer facing, but there's things that happen. There's merchandising, there's planning, there's what plan. How does the brand plan then touch retail? We have our Batu internal webinar, in-person learning development platforms. And we recently partnered with Johannesburg Business School, where we take some of our learners at our cost to be educated. So, ladies and gentlemen, the question that I want to ask you or leave you with is, together, how do we design the future? Together, how do we shape the future? Together, how do we impact the future? These are the questions that we need to be asking ourselves when we navigate out of this room to say we are given the right seat at the right time with the right stakeholders. What do we do with the power that's in our influence? What do we do within the power within our access and proximity? All in efforts for us to design, to shape, and impact the future. It is an ever growing channel, retail. There's e-commerce right now that is challenging the interface of brick and mortar. What do we do and how do we answer to that as a sector? It's about designing the future, impacting the future, and shaping the future. My conclusion is that there has to be an amalgamation of understanding both sides. Education POV, retail segment POV, and understand the world that is ever changing today. The other conclusion is that we have to always remain relevant and effective. When is the last time we actually thought about the institutions that we partner with? Are they fit for purpose? Are they future related? Why are we not offering AI? Because that's where the world is going at. Why are we not strengthening our information technology infrastructure through bursaries or learnerships that we are giving as Rseta? And I'm posing this question, obviously not having 100% knowledge, so you please excuse me if I don't know. But I'm always asking the question around impact. Impact. What are we going to be proud of in the next 5 years when we say that this is the retail of Africa? Because we know that we are behind. The infrastructure, the development, and the skill that sits in retail Africa is behind. But together, you and I have been given an opportunity to shape the future, design the future, and impact the future. I was given 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cedric Tupoko, and I thank you.
Wow. Technology. I think that's what we saw. Technology. It made sense why Cedric was insisting on using his Mac. It now really makes sense to me. And I'm so grateful because we have our CIO, Executive for Technology. I hope he's taking notes here. I was quite surprised, when Cedric started presenting, and I don't know whether it's AI or it's his April. All of a sudden, our birthday was well incorporated. There was a video already prepared, playing, and I said, wow, technology. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste time. A critical component or item in our program is that of the movement of monies. The movement of monies. up to a point where we drive these skills development programs. I'm going to invite the manager at Wholesale and Retail SETA who's responsible for finance, who's responsible for the movement of all of these monies. And I'm not an expert, but can I invite here at the podium? It's not a stage, it's a podium. Kabelo, can you please come on stage with your April laptop, please? Please, please, Kabelo. Is that an April? Why are you hiding it? Okay, whatever it is you're having, let's hope it will be effective. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Vugani. I'm glad the CIO is here to also note the same fact that other organizations are using Apple. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again, and I appreciate having this opportunity to also present about where the levy contribution or the tax which our employers in the wholesale and retail sector are paying, and just to indicate where the money is going, and also encourage those who are not participating to do so, as the CEO is actually concerned about the number of employers who are participating in our programs. So my presentation is actually a short one, whereby I'm going to take through everyone. Where do I come in when it comes to mandatory grants as well as the Annexure 2? And my biggest role in the mandate of the SETA is to ensure that the funds are actually dispersed accordingly and they go to the right people. So I have two items which I'm going to be dealing with, which number one is the transfer of the SETAs, and then the second item is mandatory grant payments. When it comes to the transfer process, which as the SETA we are actually working with, there is a process in terms of the skills development regulation when an employer is moving from one SETA into the other. And that is actually the space where, as finance, we actually review the submissions thereon and also facilitate between the W&R as well as the DHET to make sure that the employer is actually registered into the correct SETA. So I'm actually presenting about inter-SETA transfer, so that more employers are also coming to the wholesale and retail SETA, so that we can be able to ensure skills development for growth, economic growth in our county. So when the employer wants to move from the SETA that they are in to the W&R SETA, there is a form which is designed, which needs to be completed by the employer and sent through to the SETA where they are registered at. And then that form is going to be transferred or signed off and shared with DHET, so that the employer is transferred into the correct SETA. So I would like everyone to note that the W&R SETA code at SARS is actually SETA 27. So on completion of the form, that needs to be noted that the employer is transferring from this SETA into SETA 27. And then we have made the process to be easy at the W&R SETA, so that when you send the form through, it does not go to an individual email address, but it goes to a standard email address whereby multiple officials at the W&R SETA have access to that, so that next time, if maybe you send through your form and maybe you send it to Kabelo's email and Kabelo is not at work for that period, but your application is still going to be attended to. That is why it's sent to a centralized email address. And then the CEO also mentioned about joining the SETA, whereby there were also other activities, or maybe let me say other programs or employers who were specializing in bungee jumping at the SETA. So on our website, there are actually list of the standard industrial classification, of which will indicate what the wholesale and retail SETA is actually taking care of employers involved in which activities. So you can access that information on our website so that you can be able to register your goods and services accordingly. My next slide is actually in relation to the numbers, whereby on a yearly basis, as the W&Rseta, we receive levies from about 25,000 employers out there. So out of the 25,000 employers who are contributing towards the levies, about 15,000 of them are actually below 500,000. That could be as a result of some of them have once had a payroll of above 500. So now, because of the economy, the payroll has reduced, but 5,600 of those levy paying employers are actually participating in the W&Rseta programs by submitting their WSPs as well as the ATRs. And most of them are actually the super large companies. So of which the CEO has mentioned the concern about the 3,900 other companies who are medium as well as small companies, as to he needs them to come to the party so that they can also benefit on the programs. So our reserves are actually made of these ones who are not participating, as well as those who are small, and they can be able to participate and also be involved in our programs and grow to be the same size as Batu Motors and all the other giants in the wholesale and retail sector. So I just wanted to indicate that as at the end of Q3, only 51% of the levy is collected for this financial period was actually paid back to the participating companies. And with this session, we are actually encouraging employers so that we can be able to grow this percentage of mandatory grants that we are dispersing as the wholesale and retail SETA. So yeah, I guess that covers all the points which I needed to put to everyone. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you so much, Kabelo. I think his presentation was very clear. Should we have questions, we still have a Q&A item, and we're getting closer to it. We can ask questions about every other thing that has been presented here, ideas that you'd want to share with us on how we can improve overall the skills development programs that we run as the SETA. There's been ideas shared by Cedric. He's really challenging us as to how do we make an impact. We do take note of that. There's one thing common about me and Kabelo, who was here. We did not go to multiracial school. We can't say matters, we say mortars. We can't say Batu or Batu, we say Batu, you know. But thank you so much, Kabelo. Thank you so much. Quickly, can I invite, we are getting closer to the gist of our program. Can I invite Charles to take us through on the accreditation process? Over to you, sir, and thank you so much for taking the platform.
Thanks, Program Director. Thanks, Program Director. My name is Charles. I've been introduced. Mutlaping. I'm a quality assurer within the wholesale and retail SETA. And maybe as well to share a bit of not pressing that submission button. Sir Jeff, I've seen the tears, I've seen the sweat of men and women within the wholesale and retail SETA saying, I forgot to click the submission button. It's very painful. Older than me. So it's very painful to see such. So it's very much important. Thanks, Program Director. I'm here to talk about quality assurance and accreditation. I guess as simple as it is on the program, it says accreditation process. You know, we moved away, but these are the points that I will be touching to, talking to occupational qualifications specifically, QCTO. That's where now we are submitting our accreditations. I will be touching on the legacy qualification because I wouldn't move towards occupational qualification without talking about the legacy qualification. Chair, Program Director, I guess we've chose the better day of the 20th of March, a day before a Human Rights Day. I guess everybody's aware that tomorrow is a Human Rights Day, and I guess we need to reflect back. Everybody has a right to learning, and I guess this is where it started. On that 26 years, the CETA has been there, the legacy qualification has been there. It produced men and women within the wholesale and retail sector, professionalizing the sector. In terms, today we have a number of employees within different sectors, within quality partners, but within the wholesale and retail sector specifically, that was seen as an option for employment without any qualification, but we do have qualifications. So those are the items that I will be looking into. As I said, I wouldn't move away not talking about the legacy qualification. That is very much important for us to reflect back, and of which it's very much important to be aware that these qualifications, the last enrollment end date is the 30th of June 2026. Beyond that, we are no longer going to register learners on the legacy qualifications. So basically, they have laid the foundation for occupational qualifications, and that's where we are driving towards too. And in terms of us being developed, in terms of how are we going to develop the sector going forward. So on the OQSF, Occupational Qualification Sub-Framework, the CETA and the QCTO have signed the SLA, and of which is the CEO who signed that particular SLO. And within that SLO, SLA specifically, it's where we sign to say that we are going to do different things within the occupational qualification sub-framework, assisting the QCTO to achieve the goals in terms of developing qualifications. The first is to develop qualifications. We need to develop qualifications for our sector in order for the sector to develop, as much as we've been saying that the legacy qualification created the space whereby we have men and women who qualified in different qualifications, NQF level 2 up until NQF level 5. So those are the qualifications that we have within the wholesale and retail sector. So moving towards the occupational qualification within the QCTO. That's the partnership that is a long partnership that is going to take place. It's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And we have qualifications as W&Rseta that we have developed. And I will even indicate to say that we have qualifications that have been submitted to QCTO as an overview through that they've been reviewing those qualifications, making them 120 credits and beyond, and making them a part qualification within the qualification itself. these are the qualifications, and I will browse through over the qualifications, not touch qualification by qualifications that have been submitted to QCTO that have been reviewed. These are the qualifications that have been developed, have been reviewed, and in an occupational space. Maybe as well to highlight to say that in a previous programs that were approved, we never had the skills programs, and of which now in our dispensation we are going to have those skills programs to strengthen our qualifications and delivery for our employers, so that the industry should have the vast qualifications within the sector. Now, coming to accreditation process. Accreditation process, I will speak to it in twofold. We have an accreditation process as an SDP, and we have an accreditation as an assessment center. You can be an assessment center without being an SDP. You can be an SDP without being an assessment center, or you can be both. So step one, it's where you submit an application online through QCTO. And through QCTO, there are number of information that is required that for you to submit before you can submit online. Once your application is submitted through to QCTO, QCTO will do the desktop evaluation. On that desktop evaluation, it's where now they see whether you fit to which SETA or quality partner, as they call us. We are the quality partners to the QCTO. So that's where, in terms of the desktop evaluations, once the evaluation has been done, they share the information with the quality partners in order for us to do the site visits, in order to give the SDPs an accreditation and to evaluate. And as on our side, as wholesale and retail SETA, going out as the quality assurance in different provinces, we recommend to QCTO for accreditation. We don't give accreditation, but QCTO is the one that looks into our reports, that looks into the recommendations that we have made based on what we have seen on the ground, and QCTO will have then we submit those reports to QCTO. Once QCTO receive those reports, they on a monthly basis, they have an evaluation committee that they look into qualifications in order for providers to get accreditation. So basically that's that in terms of accreditation and communicating back to our providers and assessment centers. It's the same process. Assessment center, you submit online, and we cannot speak of accreditation without an assessment center. And on assessment domain specifically, that's where now things are very getting tough. As much as we are nationalizing the paper, remember previously we used to sample a POE on the legacy qualification, and a whole lot of learners get passed based on one qualification. But on this essence, the learners are going to sit for exam, a formal exam as a minute to that. So basically we are nationalizing to look similar to our education system in terms of assessments where everybody's writing. No one is going to pass because of somebody else's effort. So everybody's going to write, sit down and having that. Apart from that, as an assessment center, we need to do a monitoring of curriculum implementation, where we need to check those learners that have been trained, they are receiving the training as they should. We are doing the contracting of this. Once the assessment centers, they have been registered or accredited, that's where we go into contract those assessment centers as a SETA, so that we check the availability. And in checking that availability, we check where the learners are based, that have been trained, that they received the knowledge and the practical and the workplace component of learning. So basically, that's how we check in terms of identifying assessment center. And once those learners have written the exam, we need to come up with invigilators. We need to have markers. So that's how the assessment center will be examined. That's a big role that needs to happen within the assessment domain, and of which is a lot of work that needs to happen there. We need to write papers. And remember, paper needs to change year in, year out. Quarterly to quarterly, the papers need to change. We're not going to have one and the same paper written all the time. So basically, it's a whole lot of work that needs to be looked at around the assessments and the confidentiality. We don't want to be on the news for the sake that the paper have been leaked as much as it's been done on other sectors that we have learned. So basically, the assessment domain basically is very much and very critical as much as it's a national paper. So it's a lot of work that goes around that particular assessment domain. I'll be talking to a learner enrollment. Once you are accredited, this is a very much important space at the same time that as an SDP, your learners needs to be registered with QCTO, not only with QCTO at the end of the day, because at the QCTO, you are submitting what we call a laser file, a learner external integrated summative assessment file, of which it's in a form of a spreadsheet. And with us, we have an LMIS where you need to register your learners so that those learners that are registered on occupational qualification, they are on our system as well, not only with QCTO, as much as we are going to be looking into the sitting of those learners, writing the ISA, and we need to have that particular information. And as I'm saying that the learners need to be registered in twofold. We enroll learners at the beginning of training. After I've spoken about the curriculum implementation monitoring, once that it's being endorsed that the learners are ready for writing for exam, then the SDP register the learners for ISA. It's very much important to know that you take that into consideration, that if your learners are not being endorsed to register with for ISA, it means your learners will be sitting long, not being ready for sitting for the ISA. And it takes a lot of preparation within that in terms of the ensuring that the ISA that is being written it's proper and it's written nationally. Once the learners are sitting in Cape Town writing for wholesale and retail operations or merchandising, the learners are sitting in Gauteng writing the same paper, the same time, same. It's the same. Hence we are nationalizing this. And the last part that I would touch on, it's more in terms of certification. Certificates are printed of occupational qualifications. They are printed by QCTO. And basically that's where basically our occupational qualifications learners certification come from. And according to QCTO policy on certification, certifications are being prepared within 30 days after they have written the ISA. And on our side, the fee of ISA is 2.5 per learner. And that's how we are going to implement this. And program director, I thought befitting basically not only to talk about accreditation, not talk about the entire cycle in terms of occupational qualifications and how we are driving towards that. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Charles, for just explaining overall the involvement of QCTO. A lot of work around accreditation is now done by QCTO. But more importantly, we felt that we needed to have this item so that you have a view of how that process takes place. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting time, we are now arrived to a point whereby we want the actual engagement to happen. We need your views. We need you to share with us. We need you to engage us, and we'll respond instantly so that when we leave here, it was not just about the talk shop. We have a sense that come the end of April 2026, that deadline, we have all submitted without any glitches, and we don't submit right at 23:59 at night. And we call Sir Jeff towards that hour and say, I'm struggling. And we have our CIO there, Barnabas, who's here. He will be listening and probably will respond whenever there are IT related matters that you'd want to raise with us. But the whole idea really is to offer you this platform so that you submit properly, you submit as early as possible and in time without any issues. But beyond the submissions, you understand the importance of you as a sector participating in this program. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to hand over to my colleague, Martha Shingange, who's now going to take a lead in facilitating this facet of our program. And can we give her a round of applause? And thank you so much, Martha. Over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is so good to see a whole lot of familiar faces. It's always great to engage with you. I know over the past 4 years or so, we've been having these sessions virtually. So it's good to see a room full of people that we can hug, that we can shake hands with, and actually engage with. So we've had a few very insightful presentations, with the last one being around quality assurance, certification, very, very technical, Charles. I can never miss an opportunity to actually listen in, because even though I've been with the CETA for as long as I have been, you're still trying to find yourself around the QC2O issues and a whole lot of acronyms that we are using. So it is quite very important that we have these conversations every so often. So now let's do this. We are going to have a great time with you engaging with us, because this really is your session. Now, of the 3,900 stakeholders that are not participating, let's see, can we see the stakeholders that have not previously put through an annexure to the W&Rseta? Can we see, so that we know who's in the room, where to ask the questions, who to give the most airtime to? So we are speaking to the converted. I was speaking to the converted online. Oh, by the way, welcome to our online community. You also welcome to also participate in this segment. So a whole lot of us actually know about the CETA system, right? Which is such a great thing. Then let's see. Who's from large company? Who are our large companies? So large company is anyone who's, Sir Jeff, keep me honest, anyone who's employing more than 150 employees. You are regarded as Sistule, yes, but you definitely are. Galaxy Boy, there was Galaxy Boy, you know, we've got new players in this room, which is quite exciting. So these are our large companies. So let's move on to media. Now, Sir Jeff, medium, they employ up to 149. Am I correct? That's your media. Medium companies. There we go. There we go. Right. Okay. Then between 0 and from your one-man show up to 49, regarded as small companies, where are we? Right. Love this audience. Absolutely love it, because you are the job creators. We love it. We love it. Now, so we've heard from Matus, which is our large company. We've heard from Batu, our another large company. We haven't heard from small companies. And I know this is a majority of you who are here and definitely online. But as other people didn't raise their hands, where are you? Where are we finding you? Are you training providers? It's okay if you're a training provider. We understand. If you're an SLO, you are quite critical in the system. Let's see you. Okay, so other people didn't raise. Who are we? Are we NGOs? Are we NPOs? I know there was an NPO that I interacted with earlier this morning. I'm not sure if the lady has left. Everyone else, who are we? Ma'am, did you raise a hand? Yes. You are a small company, right? I'm gonna pick on someone. She's not gonna like me for doing this, but I've got to. So I've said that we've heard from large companies, we've heard not from medium companies, but we've got to hear from an SMME, right? Because we'd like to know how has been their CETA experience. Vuyo, I had to come to you. I'm sorry. Please, you had Batu with a very fancy presentation, right? But you are ILDP graduate. You've got to outdo that. You don't even need to prepare yourself. No, you don't. All right. So please.
Good afternoon to everybody at this event. Martha, thank you for the pressure. Um, I think I represent the various organizations, medium as well as large. And what I can say about the W&Rseta is that we have seen lots of support coming from them. Their programs are something else. They're life-changing, everything else. I love what Cedric was saying there. It was so vital because he's speaking about incapacitating and making sure that the youth are given a voice. And the CETA already has a program in Cape Town. I think it's called the Youth Focus program. And that's a learnership, and it's something that should be rolled out within the country so as to definitely touch more lives and to improve as many lives as possible. I do have a question though, Martha. I think it was Gadelo who was speaking about the mandatory grants. I just wanted to find out about that 500,000 that you speak of. For what kind of time period is that? The 500,000, the 500,000.
The payroll. Is it per annum or is it per month?
You see, by accepting the challenge, you actually got to ask a question. So it always works in your favor. Okay, another small company. Is there a small company that would love to share with us your experience of being part of the CETA system? I hope we've got microphones that are roving. Do we? All right. Okay, there's a microphone. If you don't mind to please pass it over. Thank you.
Are you a gentleman or a lady? If you're a lady, I'll give you a mic first. Oh,
It's a gentleman, so you
no,
can
you'll
go
follow up.
first.
No, my name is Obey Gardner. I'm actually a small company. I'm a cannabis inspector by profession. We do a lot of trainings, especially in places where Zol grows well, that is the Eastern Cape. And I wanted to actually find out, how does the retail sector combine with the farming industry? Because once you look for finances for farming, and if you want to create retail, because we also do body lotions out of cannabis, we do a couple of things out of cannabis, of course. And then I wanted to ask the gentleman here, Mr. Dipoko, that, okay, you know that hemp has a very good fiber, and which is good for your material to make shoes. How do we merge with you guys and create one big, what can we say, turnkey solution for the farmers in the Eastern Cape who can afford to go and study, because Abo Makulu, they only know how to grow a lot. But in terms of books, in terms of applying for this, is going to be a very big challenge for them. How do we incorporate them into your system? And I mean, also including the young people there. Thank you.
I love this kind of conversations, right? Because now we are finding other opportunities and exciting things that we can do together. So please feel free to ask all the presenters questions. Maybe by the time we leave out of here, we'll be having a multi-stakeholder project. I know cannabis is a very exciting sector that has come in, and now that it's legalized, so we can talk freely about it. And I would love also for someone from the CETA, one of our, probably the executives or say Jeff, because we need to know how are we moving in that space. So please take note of that question as well, CEO as well, if there's some input. So I will give you an opportunity, Cedric, to respond. But before that, let's take a gentleman just right behind you. You had a question, sir.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Aaron Mabasa. I'm from Tembisa. I'm running a youth development center as an NPO.
Right.
Currently, we do have accreditations, but not with W&Rseta, which we are looking also to can have one. We have the accreditations from the MIC-SETA we accredited with for end user computing, technical support, and system support. But now our problem is that we are a small company and also a non-levy payer. So we are trying to maybe understand or find a platform on how can we also enter into the space to capacitate the learners or something like that. And also how best can we merge with the stakeholders that are here. Thank you.
Brilliant question, because we don't leave anyone behind. So we take everyone with, whether you're an NPO, an NGO, whether you're selling Magunya on the streets or you are making it at the JSE, we are your partners. So with that, can we just take the answers to the cannabis questions, Cedric? There's a challenge there. Then I would like to take CEO. So Jeff, I'm not sure if you want to come in on this one. Then we'll get on to the NPO question. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you for the question. Unfortunately, in this discussion, I don't come alone. I came with our head of human capital, that has to keep me honest, because I tend to get excited and make promises. And then I'll be told about budgets and regulations and how we do it correctly. But for us, we are always trying to empower the next, right? And how do you partner with us? By making yourself available and having conversations with us. We are always in the search of innovation. The reason why this business has grown 10 years in is because of innovation has always been at the epicenter of our business. So our supply chain model is always to influence the economy of South Africa. We don't want to manufacture internationally, but because of a lack of infrastructure in South Africa, we had to do it internationally. But we're always in search of skills that can impact our business and that we can give back, because to your point, we never want to leave no man behind. We believe that South Africa is filled with so much skill, so much talent, and we want to be a partner and a gateway to partner with that talent and skill. So our head of human capital is here. We can exchange details, we can interact, we can engage, because we want to shape the future and impact the future. Thank you.
Lovely. So when we are back here next year, Becky, we would like to know what you guys have done together. So probably we'll be seeing some Batu shoes. By the way, I own more than 10 pairs of Batus. But today, even though I'm not wearing, I won't tell you what I'm wearing, but I've got more than 10 pairs of Batus in all the
You've
colors.
got 11 now, because I'm going to give you a free pair.
There you go. Where do I declare? Where do I declare? Where's HR? So, Becky, where you want to touch on the issue?
Thank you. No, I think our managing director sufficiently did respond to the questions.
All right. CEO Cannabis, the new space. Do you want to say something about it?
Yeah. So W&Rseta is constantly challenged because I think Cedric made a point about the environment is changing constantly. So just to give you an example, I can't remember what year, but we had a program where we were working with small scale farmers in Eastern Cape, by the way. So we started our program in Eastern Cape where we were partnering with Boxer Superstore, because for us, it's just not about training. It's also about creating opportunities from that angle. So our role was to train, because you already know how to grow stuff. So we're not interested in that, but you want your produce to go to the market. So we then partnered with Boxer Superstores, and we then put you through our skills program for you get into retail, and then Boxer Superstores then assist you in terms of understanding their need, their quality management. So if you need to produce a banana, what size of a banana, how should it look like, and all that. And we ended up with 100 that were already supplying Boxer. I think they are continuing, and some of them have created employment. In Ndabankulu, we are building a skill center that is focusing on agriculture and we're spending 80 million rands. 80 million rands. And that skill center is focusing purely on cannabis. And we're hoping that with that, in terms of the skills programs and everything else, we will then start getting views. And that is why these sessions are quite important for us to be able to share with us and submitting us in our sector skills plan. What are the emerging skills? Because I suspect it will be more on agro processing, how you build your stuff. But at the end of the day, your stuff needs to go into the market. So we don't discriminate, like Martha was saying, especially when you are small. Because most of the time you are non-levy paying company. So you can decide you want to stay with agriculture, then probably you will not get that assistance. But if you come to us, there are programs that we have on SMMEs to assist you to understand retail. I mean, we've got a small business owner qualification that we focusing on to assist you, those of you that are in the small space. Okay, but partnerships to us are really, really, really important. Yes. On ICT, I think last year we supported 1,000 of young people on ICT. And we went out we opened the window. We're looking for institutions that are accredited in ICT skills. And I think the success of the program, if you go into our annual report for this financial year, you will see the number of bursaries on completions. And the number of bursaries on completions are mainly on ICT skills. So look out for other opportunities, because as long as you've got an accreditation, it doesn't matter whether you are an NPO or whatever kind of an organization. As long as you've got an accreditation, you will be given an opportunity.
Thank you so much, CEO. And the beauty about retail is that we cut across. So we get to wherever you find yourself, there will be room for you in our sector. So we're also on a recruitment drive. Come, all of you. Wozan, is Jeff on the NPO issue, please?
Thank you. On the NPO issue, as you would have seen in some of the slides that I presented, I spoke about non-pivotal programs, just to mention in terms of the product offering. But the most important thing is that the focus was today on levy paying, just because we were saying who qualifies for Annex 2. But the fact is that when it comes to participating on discretionary grants, if you are registered and you are operating within the wholesale and retail sector, as Martha just said, we do not leave anyone. We do have programs for informal traders. We do have programs for NPOs, NGOs, CPOs. That we provide, and for other small companies as well. Then you can participate in all those programs. If you are a formal or kind of organization, but maybe not qualifying in terms of the levies, then you still get an opportunity to participate as well in all these other programs that we mentioned. So the challenge will be, please be on the lookout on our programs that we advertise. And at that particular point in time, I know at this particular point in time, we have not advertised on the pivotal programs, but around May, June, we will be advertising on those. Then you can take that opportunity. Thank you.
All right, great stuff. So let's move on to our next round of questions coming from this side. Ma'am, please do introduce yourself so that we know who we are speaking to. Thank you.
Angela Pinkra. I come from a company called Petrosite. It's not only Petrosite. We actually are in a group called New Africa Petroleum, which divided into two. We are a packaging company, as well as the filling station companies. So it's a big group, but I'm presenting the filling station side. There we have three companies, which is Petrosite, Amafi, and Hentech. I have a question, two questions. The first one is, so just talk about we capacitating our employees. When we started the program or we became participants or partners with SETA, we have been advertising, encouraging our employees to take courses, programs, that gets advertised. And they have seen the impact in their lives. They have seen how it is helping them in their workplace, which I would say thank you to SETA for such opportunities. They have to make a very big impact in their lives. Now, my question is, when allocation are being done, do they look at our history or only we submitting our WSP and ATR only? Because there was a year I never got anything for bursary, which I got very, very cross because people saw the impact, and that year they actually applied a lot, and I could then help them in that side. So I wanted to find out about that. What do they based on? And my second question is, as I said, we are two different organizations with the packaging. We have one packaging company which was initially registered under Service SETA. In 2022, we managed to move from Service SETA. We sent our letter to W&Rseta and said we got a transfer. What is the way forward? We didn't get any help from W&Rseta. So as it is now, our levy still goes to Service SETA, and yet we are not benefiting from Service SETA, neither are we benefiting from W&Rseta for that particular company. So how can W&Rseta help us in terms of SARS? Because that is where the problem is. We have been having challenges with SARS. SARS is not coming to the party, and we are not benefiting at all. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Good to have you, Sis Angela. So, Jack, they want to know how you're slicing your cake and obviously the SETA transfer issue. So just to note the two questions, and let's take another one this side.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I think it's already after 12. Yeah. My name is Wendy Bimpendulo, the founder of Miante Manufacturing. I'm located in Weinberg, where my factory is. I also have a factory shop. So I've been trying, one of those small employers who have been trying to write, and then I leave things halfway because I was already accredited with another institution. So I wanted to know now, in terms of the transfer, how does it work? Because I would like to, I see people, my colleagues, most of them are benefiting within the space of SMME. Some, even now, Proudly SA was sponsoring their stands, and some of them have gone for courses and stuff. So, and also because I've got a factory shop within my factory. So, and I'm employing youth within Alexandra. So I wanted to know, how can I now transfer, because I'm accredited with Food Bev SETA, and what is actually, I think my accreditation is finishing this year. So what will the impact be when I leave the other SETA and I come to this side? I had to say, was I? So I offer nuts. I offer nuts, and for wellness, please call me, HR department, for the teams. I can give you good nuts, which are on the go, tasty feeling, where you don't need to eat with guilt conscience. No preservatives, as JB's.
Oh, she had to advertise. It was lovely seeing you at Buy Local the other day. So, Jeff, I think all these questions are yours, all three of them.
Well, others actually, Kabelo can take, especially around the IST and all those things, but we can touch on those because we are actually getting involved in that process. Angela, look, with Petrosite, I know, actually, let me not say with Petrosite, with everybody. I indicated earlier on to say most of the applications that we receive,
they are always surpassing the numbers that we have. Our numbers are only limited to the numbers that would have been signed off in terms of our APP per se. And then obviously we allocate them to clusters and then into provincial offices. And when it comes to bursaries, some of them, those numbers, when it comes down to provincial offices, what they can allocate, they become a little bit lower. But obviously, the number of people that would have applied will be far more than the number of what we want to allocate. And yes, in terms of the history, you may find that earlier on, some of them are actually in the same category, but if you look at the numbers, you cannot allocate to them. So in some other years, you allocate to others and not allocate to others. But as we speak, we are now have built up a process where we are focusing more on those that are having impact. In other words, registering those learners and completing those learners and submitting to us results on time, because others sometimes they register and do all those things, but when it comes to getting the results back for us to report those numbers, then we don't get them on time. You know, as we don't get them on time, then they impact on your performance, you know, that kind of say, because if you look into that, by the 28th of February, actually, we should be getting results for the previous academic year so that we can continue and do all those kind of things. So all that I'm saying, yes, we are now going to be strictly looking into those that register those learners and also complete those learners. And if they are not completing, continuing those learners on time so that we take care of that. But at the end of the day, we may still not be in a position to meet the needs for everybody because of the number of stakeholders, especially in provinces like in Gauteng, the numbers are too high. So, but we will take care of that. For that one that has just submitted the IST, or one, as Kabelo has indicated, I will appreciate if maybe that can be directed, that query to that email address that he submitted, so that it can be looked into to check where is the hurdle. I know quite a number of them as well who have been trying to move, but unfortunately it has not been finalized. And unfortunately, it's something that is not on our hands, but we also have to inquire elsewhere. But I think Kabelo can add on that.
Yeah, I think you have actually answered the question, Sajef. The employer will have to just give us a brief description of what is happening on the email address that we have provided on our website, so that we can facilitate with inquiry at the site of DHEAD, so that we can be able to see how far is the progress. Yes.
Thank you. So, Jeff, just before you take on the other question, I just want to ask, I think Sis Wendy's question. We had another session, if I think a few weeks ago, and the stakeholders, you know, the SETA transfer, it's always such an issue. And the colleagues there were saying to us, make regular follow-ups. Don't just put it there on the system and hope that it's gonna move. Make people very uncomfortable every morning when they wake up. Let your email be the first one that they see. And they are tested to say that actually helps to fast track the process. So as you have done that, make the necessary follow-ups as well, so that they understand that you also need to have the process fast tracked so that you can benefit. We've got some companies that have been in the process for, you know, a couple of months and they're not seeing progress, whilst others are saying we've had a similar issue and this is how we have addressed it. So help the process move as well on your side. Have you been answered?
I think it was on an IST as
No,
well.
there's the other one. Is it a similar issue?
Well,
they want to move from food bev. There's an accreditation issue, or should we give that to Charles?
Well, I can say because it is a move, that process that Cabello indicated, that's the one that should be followed. But maybe the other question that she asked to say, if I now attempt moving, what is going to happen because my levies will still be with the other seater? The process is that if you have applied with the other seater and that is not yet through, please continue to submit your annexure with the current seater so that when the process is through, then we link up with that other seater then to bring all that information to say, yes, you did submit and all those things are there. Not stop submitting just because you will have applied with the other seater. So so that you don't lose out at the end of the day, basically.
All right, is that okay? And please bring the others. I know you're a group. I know you. So please bring the others. We want them this side is this as well. Are we warming up? Are we warming up? Anyone around here? Sis Beggy, can I do this or are you responding to something? You're responding. Please do.
Thank you so much, Martha. We also transferred from FPNM CETA to W&R CETA, and I just want to add a testimonial that there is light at the end of the tunnel. The whole process was extremely seamless. I believe it took less than a month, to the degree that when we had a call back from our previous seat, we were like, oh, apologies. We
poached finally. We have been trying to poach you for the longest time.
we definitely had a absolutely different experience.
Wow.
So just so that you know, as well as a
So how did you do it?
So we
what worked?
So what worked for us is we went into your offices. So we knocked on your door. Your stakeholders, as always, extremely hardworking, extremely helpful. They helped us in terms of guidance in navigating the process, all of what we needed to complete, etc. And it was such good communication to the degree that for me, just even being able to contact people from W&Rseta is absolutely amazing, whether it's via emails, they provide additional contact details. It was extremely responsive. So for those wanting to transfer, just so that they know that it is not a bottleneck process through and through. There are stakeholders that have a far different experience. So they should soldier on if ever they're experiencing just a difference in how we received it on our side.
All right, so there's some encouragement and compliments to Team GPS. Well done, colleagues. There was a question, I think, somewhere around here. Let's move this through. Thank you.
Good day. My name is Olwethusa. Name is Ketekile, and I'm a CEO of Imbego Yetu Consultancy and Advisory Firm.
Right.
So we're based in Joburg and Sandton, but we have clients in the Eastern Cape and the Free State. I was just too shy to raise my hand, just in case I'm the first one to be picked. But there's two clients of ours that are new in the space, right? And they are in the energy sector. So I heard from the quality assurer, he had a lot of information, and there's just 2 or 3 questions that I wanted to ask pertaining to that.
Okay, Charles, these are for you.
Yeah. So it's just with regards to enabling or addressing digital divide. So one of the few things that I wanted to ask, and I'm in the HR field for 19 years right now. Some of the issues or the challenges are usually in terms of the gaps, from learnerships to transferring those skills or classroom-based content and transferring, especially to sectors that are predominantly experience-based. So I just wanted to ask the questions. Number one is, how does the requirement for classroom-based delivery aligns with your current labor market demands in the wholesale and retail space? And then the second one is around, how does CETA ensure that your classroom-based experiences do not exclude the rural spaces, remote or working, or for learners who cannot afford to attend in person? And then the last one, has CETA just conducted a cost-benefit analysis comparing classroom-based learning models as well as your workplace, or a blended model? And what is the consensus on that? Just those 3 questions. Thank you.
You got that, Charles? If you don't mind to please move the microphone this way so that he can answer. All right, we'll come back to you once he has answered.
Thanks for the question. I guess it's more in a sense of a digital space as you are raising it, but in a different format. And through the QCTO, I'll time to time refer to it because that's the way to go in terms of getting accreditation and classroom-based vis-a-vis the hybrid model. So we are not leaving everyone behind. When you submit an application, you need to be clear that you would want to deliver training in a hybrid mode. We call it a hybrid, so that it shouldn't be, because we are not, it's even been proven at some point to say that we are not at that stage to say that we are 100% delivering training online. Hence, it's been termed hybrid. So basically, you can deliver training in class, and those that I cannot reach, and especially talking, maybe you're referring to the rural area guys, basically. Yes, there is a hybrid that you can deliver that particular model in that fashion. And when we do, we engage with you as an SDP where you need to demonstrate how are you going to implement that so that we become assured that these learners are going to get benefit the same way. However, here's a gist of the matter that we haven't reached even the QCTO. I guess I'll use an example of UNISA. UNISA people write online, and we are not at that space as yet because we don't have a system, both the QCT or even us. It's more in the sense of all the eyes or the exam that are written, they are written in a physical. So we don't have, that's the only part that excludes the hybrid model and the writing part. So it is indeed deliverable. You can do that, excluding the exam part. So in a nutshell, I'm covering the three parts of your question into that. Thanks.
All right. Are you answered, ma'am? Quality, checks, balances, partly. Charles is here the whole day. We'll make sure that is here for your questions offline. Anyone else with similar questions, Charles is available. There was a question here with the gentleman this side before we move back to the other side. Charles, may I please? Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kagiso Nkomo. I came here with wearing two caps. Actually wanted to have 2 points that I wanted to make. One, it is with regard to the position or the point where the W&Rseta is finding itself, because it is where manufacturers, they will manufacture, and they will also be in the shop floor where they do retail, especially what Cedric has also said, to say, look, retail is not constituted only about the shop front. There's many things that are happening behind the scene in terms of the manufacturing or the accounting or the rest of other things. But unfortunately, that's how the seaters are designed, because they're interlinking with other seaters. Like I had to decide now, I'm at the manufacturing, I'm at the retail. Sometimes I do the manufacturing stuff, I need support because, as you know, the ecosystem currently in the country, it's making it difficult for manufacturers, especially from the predominantly black, manufacturing companies, whichever way you're from, which sector you're from. It's difficult for you to gain access into the shelves, your product, to get shelf space and so on. Now, sometimes you are forced to do what Batu did and have their own flagship stores, and then it forces them to be in the retail. But in the future, Batu will have to have their own manufacturing plant where they will be now again in the manufacturing. So those are the links that the I wanted to talk about. To say sometimes it's difficult, where you need help from W&Rseta, because I manufacture paint, but I have paint stores where I employ people who are at the shop floor. Now I cannot necessarily get another assistance because now my levy is getting paid from the other sector, or rather the other SETA. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And the second point is more fundamental, in terms of protection of the the sector from retail. As you can see that there is a challenge, a risk that we are faced by because of the I want to like pose it in a more where you find that if you go to the communities, the wholesales are now being taken over by people who are not even contributing to the levies. And yes, we are saying 25,000 of companies are contributing towards the SETA. But what is the SETA doing to protect and ensure that beyond the 25,000, surely there could have been more, but because of there is no certain protection that is granted strategically towards the illicit trade, fake goods that can protect all other sectors or other companies that are contributing towards the levies and so on, so that they are protected and they can grow and the sector and employ more people. So those are the two things that I just wanted to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Were you at the Buy Local Summit this week? Illicit goods, illegal goods were a key issue. But anyway, I would like to give, because there's an element of getting you to the W&Rseta. So we've got our chief recruitment officer in terms of moving you from Merseta to W&Rseta. So I want him to convince you. But the other issue, obviously, it borders around regulatory issues, something that might not necessarily be within our space and our control, but I'm sure the CEO will shed more light to that. CEO?
Yes. There are a lot of organizations that have got the similar issues. So let's take the pharmacy environment, pharmaceutical environment. So if you go to, I don't want to mention names. If you go to them, what is the largest part of that business? It's retail. That's the largest part. But then they've got the pharmacist at the back and they do some work. Remember, the issue of sector skills plan are very, very important. When we invite you and we ask you to come through and say to you, come to this session and share information, we want that information purely for the fact that as qualification, as you need assistance, we are able to say, because if I'm not finding that information in any of the documentation or information, I'm not going to fund it. Okay, so Baker, it's not us. But those that are in the retailers that have got baking space at the back have raised it. You'll be surprised that Baker is now one of the biggest qualification that we're looking at SETA. But it's not ours. It's Foodbev SETA. So do we fund it? Yes. And by the way, you smaller employers have got much more leverage because we've got almost 90% of small and medium companies, because you will have a difficulty separating yourself. Big retailers can easily separate companies. You don't want to be running two separate companies. So it's important that you then participate and become part of the work that we're doing. But also the SETA does play a role in artisan programs, or what we call technical programs. We've got a target of artisan programs, but we hardly ever get any what do you call this thing, request from our employers in the sector. So the point that I'm making is that there is an opportunity for you to be involved in that particular space. It could also be clothing and textile. As long as we are not getting that information about, I don't know what you guys, I don't know the qualifications at the back in the manufacturing side, what are they? As long as we are not raising those issues, we will not be able to fund those particular issues in our space. So I'm just sharing that with you, that it is important. Then from an illicit trade issue, I think we are aware. And that is why we are partnering with organizations like your Proudly South Africa. That is why Mother was talking about that. That's precisely the issue. It could be any other issue. It could be health issues. Like we, in this financial year, had a drive on issues on food safety, food handling, and all those particular. They might not necessarily be the issues that are related to our sector, but they do what do you call this, and affect our sector. As long as we get the information, you tell us about these issues, we are then able to then put programs where we can create awareness, sensitization, so that people then really understand that. I mean, I was somewhere in Maboneng, and I was seeing young boys that were buying what do you call this, cognac. Hennessy, yes, that thing. So they were buying that stuff like it's like water. And I started looking at myself and I said, no, there is something not right here. Because it means then these young kids are drinking alcohol that is not proper. Okay, so it's really important for us to then start looking at those issues. How does it affect our economy? How does it affect the revenue of our economy? How does it affect your businesses? So as long as we get that information and we partner with us and you tell us more about these things, then we start having this conversation. Funny enough, it's a conversation that now we're starting to have it at the board level regarding that particular issue.
Thank you so much, CEO. So let's take a quick ad break. I'm going to, Mxolisi, I'm offering you free advertising. You are hereby invited to the W&Rseta 2026-2027 Sector Skills Plan engagements and consultation sessions starting when, Mxolisi, again? From the 2nd of April? 16th of April. So these are countrywide engagements. And to CEO's point, so that's where you get to provide us with this feedback, because unless it's in the SSP, we are not going to find it and we are not going to do it. So don't miss out. The invitations will be going out soon and we hope to see you there. And before we go to our online questions, because I believe we do have a few questions there, there was a lady at the back. Ma'am, do you still want to ask a question? Was your hand up? Not. All right, then let's go online, please. I know they have been patiently waiting. Who's helping us with the online questions, please? We will be back, and it looks like you don't mind us going over time in terms of lunch. Are we still comfortable? I know it's a little bit warm, but we are still all right. Online, let's take a few questions. Who's helping with that? Okay, so Desmond has sent through some questions that I'm going to take online. Okay, so we've got a few questions. There is Reginald who is saying, we are working with small enterprises and vendors within the WR sector, and as an NLP, how do we participate in the skills development fundings presented? So, Sir Jeff, you'll have to go through that all over again, please, if you don't mind. And then we have Stacy Edwards, who is saying, I want to know when we will be getting a proper financial reporting system on MIS. This should get to the CISO's attention. MIS. There we go. You see, all you need to say is MIS, then CIO hears you. There's a question for you, sir. They want to know, stakeholders want to know, how do they get proper financial reporting on your beautiful system? I will not read the rest of the question, but there are some challenges. So they want to know, how can they get proper financial information? And we've got another question is on registration process for assessors and moderators. That's another critical one, Charles, if you don't mind to take that for me. So, Sir Jeff, then CIO, you might want to come inside, please. I know it's hot in here. And then we'll have Charles. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you to the question that has been asked around NLP. And as I indicated earlier on, we are going to advertise around May, June for non-pivotal programs. I will then urge the stakeholder to make sure that during that particular process, they apply wherever they are so that they can be considered and be able to participate on those programs. Thank you.
All right, so online, please be on the lookout for the adverts coming through so that you can then apply. Charles, assessors and moderators.
Thanks. Assessors and moderators, they submit applications through our MIS that is being questioned at the same time. That's how we are going, and that's how we do things. No manual submissions in different offices, but you submit applications online, and we evaluate those applications differently for different province. They evaluate those applications. I'm responsible for Gauteng South, evaluating those applications. Even though I believe is those of legacy qualifications, you can still register. It's not cut off as yet, and of which it lead us to go there because what is it that we will be registering after the 30th of June 2026 after the enrollment and date have passed. So basically you still have a chance to register as an assessor and moderator and ensure that the supporting documents that you submit online, they are certified with the current date. And the rule of the certificate of certifying documents is they should be within 6 months. They shouldn't be older than that. So basically that's how you submit your application, and you'll get evaluation. And once evaluated as well, you get a letter that confirms that you are a registered assessor or moderator. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Let's take the MIS question. I'm surprised you only have one question today.
That's good.
I'm not encouraging them to ask questions, but please help us, CIO.
Good day, everyone. As you may all be aware, we have modernized the MIS. We are now working on a modernized MIS. And what we have done is we deployed now a new module called vendor collaboration. Vendor collaboration, what it will do, it will assist you to submit your claims online, and you will be able to track and trace your payments, how far your payments are, whether we have paid you or we have repudiated your claim. So it is something that you should be able to start using in Q2 of our financial year. Thank you.
That CIO, we are really moving on to, are we in the 5th or still in the 4th IR? Somewhere there, but okay, it says 5. I don't know. I think we had some hands somewhere around here. Do you have a microphone? Please go ahead, ma'am.
Good day, everyone.
I just wanted to highlight to Babu Mkwanazi that from the baking sector, we would really appreciate that qualification to be added to the wholesale and retail. And you also highlighted that we're not having enough employed people being beneficiaries of bursaries and learnerships. However, there is a bit of a hiccup on the system whereby I'm speaking behalf of myself. Oh, I didn't introduce myself. Sorry, my name is Shelly from Chipkins. I'm the SDF nationally for South Africa. Um, we have learners from 2021, 2022 financial year still on the system as enrolled, although the claims and everything else have been submitted, leading to over 400 people on the system, and we can't go forward. We can't register any more employed people. So I would like assistance with the system from us. Thank you.
Jeff, I'm sure this is something that you can assist them. They are your stakeholder, right? Or Gauteng North. CEO, you want to say something? 2022, you said, ma'am. How long have the learners been on the system? Just to confirm, please.
We have different groups, but starting from 2021.
Around 2021. So they are still on the system, which means that they cannot be registered on other programs. I know my colleagues from GPN are here, Vusi, Chipkins, Pirato, right? Chipkins has an issue. But Sir Jeff, is there something you would like to say to that? Vusi? But we've got two offices in Gauteng. So, and by the way, Sir Jeff is senior, so he's delegating accordingly. Please, Vusi.
Good day, colleagues. Shirley, what I would like you to do is to send on my email the list of learners so that I can be able to follow up on the certification process. How far are they? Because when they become certified, then the status changes to be achieved. And that person can then be registered on a new program if he is actually moving up on skills development. By the look of the question, it looked like it's a matter of getting them certified and be able to be registered on you. So I'll have to follow through and find out what would have been the program if it was on the 21-22 year.
They did receive the certificates. Remember, for tranche 4, certificates are required from cross-sectional SETAs for us to claim. So we did submit the certificates. However, the status has not changed.
Okay.
Okay. Will you two have coffee?
Yes,
To
together.
sit together during lunchtime?
Yes,
I'm sure it is something that we can sort out so that we make sure that the employees progress to the next level and benefit from other programs. Did we have any other questions here? Are we ready for lunch? No, doesn't look like it. We've got a question there from Galaxy Boy. Guys, branding is very important. Is there a microphone somewhere here? Okay.
Thank you so much. Good day, everyone. My name is Kumuto. My question is around legacy qualifications, the whole QCTO CETA migration. So what I want to understand is, from a planning perspective, if we have planned to enroll some of our people on legacy qualifications, what would then happen post the 30th of June? Because I'm well aware that registrations can no longer happen. But if we have planned, then will we be presented with maybe an alternative qualification right under QCTO? Or what is going to happen after that?
Charles, this is yours, the phase out for legacy qualifications. They're aware that we've got a deadline for the registrations, but what qualifications are they going to get?
Thanks. For legacy qualification, I guess even on the allocations that are going to happen, the emphasis it's more to say that we need to do that before the 30th of June. That will allow us as a SETA as well to, when we evaluate the submissions, they are all in order by the 30th of June. However, there are qualifications that are registered within the QCTO, which is on occupational qualifications. And those qualifications, they are existing, even though they are, let me put it in that fashion at the same time so that it shouldn't come back at the same time. It is qualification, but not above 120 credits. Those qualifications, they can be implemented by the providers who have accreditation for that. And as much as to saying the alternative, does the alternative going forward in terms of occupational qualification, above board, those qualifications as well that I've showed when I on my presentation that are on our website, those are the qualifications that we have submitted to QCTO to meet 120 credits. So basically we would be working with QCTO in order for those qualifications to be approved. And I will urge the stakeholders, QCTO process, they take qualifications on a public comments. If there are no public comments, colleagues, those qualifications won't see the light of the day. Even if you give a thumbs up, just say it to say that I am aware and those qualifications, they are good for fit for the purpose, then the QCTO will strengthen and ensuring that those qualifications are registered. So that's how the process is going to unfold to ensure that our qualifications, we move swiftly towards the occupational qualifications. Thanks.
All right, so there's another opportunity to please engage. Sir Jeff wants to say something. Are you adding, Sir Jeff?
Yes.
All right.
Around the legacy qualifications, I hear that we are saying they should be registered by the 30th of June. But what I just want to emphasize is that when you get your award letters and you want to implement legacy qualifications, those must be on our systems by the 30th of May, so that you allow the SETA 30 days to make sure that all other things that needs to be done in terms of evaluating and registration is done. But please make sure that compliant submissions are submitted so that there are no to and fro's around the what you would have submitted in terms of the learner agreements and all the other supporting documentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Jeff. I know there are questions right at the back, but can we be please kind to our online community? Because I know I've given probably 10 opportunities here. So just one more, please. And CEO, this one is yours. I know you didn't want to get into this matter, but probably it was definitely going to pop up and is coming through from our online community. And that is around that pre-SONA meeting that you had. People want to know the 40% MG, what's going to happen with that. So the source suggests a presentation, it says 20. And of course, they've been listening in and they had the minister saying it's 40%. So what does it mean? Sorry, it had to come.
Okay, so 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 colleagues can remember that at one point the monetary grants were 50%. Okay, then in 2011, I think 2011, 2012, the regulations then changed to reduce them to 4%, to 20%. So the president, when the president does a speech, it's not a regulation. Okay. So the president just makes a speech, then someone else must then go and implement. Okay, so it means then there must be a process that must be followed. So it means then the regulations must be changed. And there must be a public comments. There must be a process that needs to be put in place. So that's where I think we are at currently. So it will not happen now when you are making your submission for your mandatory grant. It will still be 20% because the law in South Africa you can never implement it backward, retrospectively. Okay, so there must be a process. We don't know when that process is going to start, but we're hoping that probably the implementation will be for the other year, which will probably for 2027. Yeah, so that's our hope. So that you can also plan properly as a SETA. Because remember, right now, we've planned for this financial year based on the current regulations. So our budgets are based on 49.5 and 20%. Okay, so again, there will be public comments and the all of you as stakeholders will be requested to then make those particular comments into the into the to the regulations when they've been sent out.
Thank you so much, CEO. So there we have it. It's hold fire for now until we have the green light in terms of the regulations changing the current status. I know you've been burning. Please go ahead.
Not necessarily. I'm just excited.
Love
But
it.
If you could just make available the presentations, I think it would be much appreciated. There's two questions, but I'm going to give one to my colleague.
All right, Sir Jeff, we will send through the presentations. You'll share our.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sasha, and I'm representing the Gas Installers Association of South Africa. And from a research and industry perspective, we've been engaging with multiple SETAs, regulators, municipalities, and community structures. And we've noticed that the LPG as a sector does not sit within a single sector, and it cuts across multiple sectors, including W&Rseta and W&Rseta. Yet the skills development pathways remain fragmented. Is there any plan regarding the LPG industry? Because as we can see in the news, LPG prices and global energy instabilities are increasing, and the underserved communities are going to be impacted quite tremendously. So as the Gas Installers Association, we really want to know how can we work with the SETAs. Obviously, like we said, we've engaged with several other SETAs, so now it's your turn. And we really want to know how can we mitigate that entire risk of a community that will possibly lose out on skills development and training. This is quite crucial because we see what's happening in the news, and LPG is going to obviously be the next energy source, especially when Eskom stops supplying energy to our communities that really need it. And at the same time, our communities are so rich with skills training and development, where majority of the unemployed persons that are there are actually skilled to be placed in whatever industry, but that pipeline is not offered or even possible for them. Another thing I just want to bring to your attention is that while we are transitioning digitally, the communities aren't transitioning digitally. They do not have access to meetings like this. Vice versa with all the other SETAs. How do we get that information to them? What are we doing? Because at the same time, as leaders of our own organizations, I'm sure we're supposed to be leading communities to the same transition. So I really, I'm pleading actually, how can we work together as a collective? Because our communities are going to lose out, which means it's going to be a ripple effect to suburbs, private sector. We might end up just being another China, or, whatever worse. We really need to see how we can help. So thank you so much, CEO, and happy birthday, W&Rseta. We hope that the next couple of years to come, there's going to be major transition impacts and implementation for all communities, not only the suburbs. I don't know if it was a question or a statement, but I hope you heard me. Sasha from the Gas Installers Association. As I mentioned, we do cut across all the SETAs. So yeah, Thank you so much. And happy birthday again.
Thank you so much. We can hear the passion in your voice. So I'm going to ask CEO to take care of the LP gas question. Then the second part, Sir Jeff, I'm going to put you on the spot because you are the most senior from the provinces. Just to outline, how are we getting into the rural communities? Because as a SETA, and I know W&Rseta is one of the SETA where we are in most areas than any other SETA. So I would like you to please speak to that provincial structure. Thank you, including the TVET colleges. CEO, thank you.
I've just checked now. The chemical seat has got a qualification called Specialty Gas System Installer. Yeah, so it's a registered qualification with SAQA. It's not it. Okay, yeah, but they okay, so it means then you probably then need to engage with the SETA that is involved because everything that is chemical gas is with that particular SETA. That's the SETA that is responsible for that. From our side, we only get involved when you're going into a gas station and you are selling you're going and you're exchanging and you're buying what do you call this thing, the cylinder. That's where we get in from a retail point of view, but from an installation point of view, because it's manufacturing and it's technical, so it's really not our qualification. So, but you need to you need to engage with them because they've got. I've just looked at all the qualifications that they have, and they do have that qualification.
Thank you, CEO. But can I lead upwards? You to me. Okay. So you've got that association of SETA CEOs, right? Where you all are. I think there's a few issues that are being raised here around inter-SETA issues. Sicela ukuthuma bandla. Please raise it there. Because I think that is where, as the executive, that's where you sit and you can influence how fast or how slow some of these things move. So there's your mandate. Tuma mina. So Jeff, please.
Thank you. I think you were quite spot on, Martha, to say whether you're talking HETs, when you're talking TVETs, whether you're talking SETAs, just because it is a national imperative in terms of reaching out to rural people. So there are programs that are actually being implemented focusing on a rural area. So irrespective of where the employer is, but in the rural, as you can see, actually in this document which is in front of you, there are various offices. So you can pick your rurality and then link it to this any of our offices to inquire on the programs that we are implementing. But in those rural areas, we do focus a lot in terms of ensuring that nobody is left behind, even in those areas. We do get them. And there are, from the W&Rseta perspective as well, we sometimes go out of our way in terms of assisting those learners that are in the rural areas in terms of proximity towards whatever is being offering, whether it's a training provider or the company, to make sure that they do access those programs. So I will just say, please reach out to any of our offices, but there is something that we're doing all the time to make sure that our rural communities are not left behind. Thank you.
All right, so we'll probably just do one last round, if that's all right. But just to mention to our online community, we have received a few questions which are very operational. It's about queries. They've been engaging with this one and the next one and the next one. So we are noting all of those and we'll make sure that they are escalated to Sir Jeff. He'll make sure that there are responses to those issues. So we are noting them, but because they are mostly around operations, about pending queries, if you could please just allow us to escalate them accordingly so that we can get you the assistance that you require. Last round, going once. Okay, there's a few that side, but let's take here. first. Thank you.
Good morning. Thanks very much. My name is Ntabiseng Sperber. I think maybe this question may be directed to Charles, ne? Or maybe Sir Jeff. You would decide. My question is about now that, occupation qualifications have been there. And there's also a thirst to have providers in marginalized areas. And not that I'm being critical. I know with the historical, some cities tried to develop certain providers, and it becomes just a pocket of it. My concern that, you find that at learner achievement, some of the providers' work is not pleasing, and we are achieving these learners. And one of the speakers spoke of let's transform from being compliance driven but transformative. Is there a way that, okay, if we see that this is a priority occupational qualification that as an industry we desire to drive, ne? Meaning to get more competent people. Now, if that is being identified through our planning systems, number two is with the mandatory grant that is not claimed, and or whereby certain industry association or maybe a group company, some of in the retail it's groups, no, we don't have association, so to say. So to say they could probably, where we go, share whatever contribution and develop learning materials that maybe I see may improve the quality of what providers, produce into the system. When you take them into the workplace, that the learners are equipped, because there's a big discrepancy between, I think one spoke here of learner who's maybe, let's assume here in Gauteng than in another rural based province. So that's my suggestion. It could be another, probably a project, but starting with priority qualifications.
I see Sir Jeff looking at me like, keep it moving. Ask Charles. There's an element of HDI capacitation, quality, quantity. I think he's itching to take on this one. Will you add? I've got you, Sir Jeff.
Thank you so much. And I guess it's a very good point, and I guess you noticed it from our being engaged, being a quality expert of developing of those qualifications. And however, I will put it in this fashion. And you would remember when I made a presentation to say that that time has passed where a learner, the other learners are going to pass based on an individual learner. So basically, it's going to expose the providers who are what they are doing on the ground. The learners that are going to sit, let's say for an example, the 20 sitting for the ISA exam, and it's only 9 that are passing, it puts a negative impact to you as a provider. You need to look yourself in a bigger way to say, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Because this is a national standard. It's not a negative or a point that is coming from a different point. That's where I'm looking at it to say that this is how we are going to do it. I spoke about the quality monitoring of program implementation. That's where we will be looking into that. If your learners are not ready for the ISA, the quality assurance in different provinces, they need to say that these learners are not ready for this particular ISA. At the same time, you will need to do closing of those gaps within as a provider. And I guess when you do, when you cut corners as a provider, it will hit hard on you financially. Learners being in the middle of the program and you are not implementing correctly. And here's Charles who says your program is not in order. Starting from scratch, it's another point, because you will have to start from there. So basically, the occupational qualification, it lays that particular foundation. That's where it's going to lead us into, so that even when your learners go for ISA, we know the learners that are going there, it's learners that are credible, that would be delivering, that will be writing an ISA. Not an individual who would say, no, I'm not going. It will be an individual who's saying, I'm not going there because I'm not ready. They will definitely we are going to have that situation. So basically it serves the purpose as a provider. You need to look at yourself, whether whatever that you are delivering, is it correct or not. And hence I'm saying we do those monitorings. Those monitorings are the ones that will tell us whether things are in order. Thanks.
So ISA is going to be a game changer, adding another level to quality. Do we still have any more questions? Okay, there's a question right at the back. Please go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Wisani Maduleke. I'm working as a fundraiser for different organizations, freelancing. So, on behalf of Mr. Charles, I see you've been busy today, sir. I just want to ask the program director so that they give you enough chance so that you can even explain to everyone around here about the RPL. Because I've been working with different organizations, and then I've discovered that there's a lot of people who are doing a lot of work out there, and they do want to go into education space, but then they don't know about RPL. So I suggest maybe get more enough time so that you can talk more about RPL. Thank you.
Okay, there you go.
Thanks. I don't know, program director. You give me that space, and I guess it's me between myself between this session and lunch at the same time. So basically, on the recognition of prior learning, I would just glimpse over on it so that everybody understands. A recognition of prior learning, it's more in a sense of giving a. Let me practicalize it. In essence, within the wholesale and retail sector, we had individuals who worked within the sector without formal education. They've been with the sector for many, many years. However, these people need a certification, a paper to say that I can do this. I have experience on this particular job that I'm doing. I've been doing this job in and out, but I don't have a formal qualification. So that's another way of closing the gap of an individual to have a formal certificate, a formal communicate to say that I have a qualification on what I'm doing. And RPL basically, hence I said it's an individual who said, I've been working within the SETA. And at some point, I guess where you're coming from, you would say there are people who are saying that we've seen where people have been identified as an RPL, but they don't have even experience on the RPL. So RPL is mainly made for such people to say that I need paper, but I don't have I need a qualification. I have experience, but I don't have a qualification. So that is mainly that. Even on moving to occupational qualification, RPL is not going anywhere. It's still going to be there, where you would have to have a tool that will identify in terms of how first you evaluate to check if these learners really need an RPL program so that you close the gaps where they are lacking in terms of giving them the paper so that at the end the person would say I have a certification within the program that I'm doing or the experience that I have, and that's how short in terms of RPL I would give in a sense of within our sector. And even on the legal qualification, it's been there. We've been delivering an RPL program in number of our programs, and that's how we've been doing it in terms of closing the gap. Thank you.
And our very last question goes to this gentleman.
Thank you. My name is Sanele Shabalala from Meridian Wines. I think my question is in addition to the already asked question about the MIS payments. I just want to find out if the system also allows us to track the mandatory grants payments, or is it only specific to discretional grants?
I love putting the CIO on the spot. MIS. So there's a question. There's a question. MIS. So can we track our MG as we do our DG on the system? Very short and sweet.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
But the next round of modification, you will be able to.
Okay, he's working on that. It's coming soon near a computer, in a computer near you. So, colleagues, thank you ever so much for gracing this event. We've been having these sessions for the past couple of years, but this is the first time in a few years that we're having it in person, and I think it truly was a good call. So probably next time we're going to have 2 days, because I think there is a reason to have Charles being allocated 3 hours to talk about all the things that Charles does. Then we'll have Sir Jeff. Yeah, Sir Jeff, I know he only wants 20 minutes, but then you can ask a whole lot of questions. But we truly, truly look forward to engaging with you next year. But of course, in the meantime, there are other engagements. I've already invited you to Mkolisi's session, which are very, very critical. I'm not sure what is more critical than the SSP actually comes first, because without the SSP, none of this can happen. So Mkolisi is a very important stakeholder that we should be supporting. So as you receive your invitations to come to the consultation and engagement sessions, please honor those. They're very, very critical, because if chiefkins come in and put in only their skills, that's the only thing that we're going to implement in this sector. So you need to be there so that your individual skills are actually accommodated. So let's continue with the conversations. Our colleagues are here. We'll only let them go at 4 o'clock. So it's Friday. At the SETA, we knock off at 4 o'clock. So if anyone wants to leave before o'clock and you still want to talk to them, CEOs here, please report them. We are here. We would love to engage with you. We know that there are other questions that some of you may have not asked, but our colleagues are here. Even outside, we are here. We are a full team. So please do join us and let's engage. Let's network over lunch. There's stakeholders. If you are interested in partnering with them, this is your opportunity to come and talk about that partnership, so that next year or in another conversation, we will be showing the partnerships that came from here. Anything is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been an absolute awesome audience. I enjoyed this. So please, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so very much. So please do enjoy lunch. We appreciate you being here. CEO, thank you for your time. We know that you are quite busy with a lot of things, particularly this time of the year. We've got I think it's about a week to our financial year end. So it's a very busy time at the SETA. So we appreciate that you came. CIO, I see you're putting your jacket ready to go. But thank you for coming. The system is calling you. The system is calling you. But we truly appreciate it. Finance is also here. Please do engage with us. Thank you and enjoy the weekend.